Hey everybody, welcome back to Talking Points. I'm Fred Willis, and I have with me very special guest tonight. I'm going to be talking to the cast of Cheryl's Voice, a very important play, a very important body of work in the city of Fort Worth. It's telling a poignant story that we all need to have a look at. It deals with not only domestic violence, but it highlights rather domestic violence awareness and shows us how to get active in domestic violence prevention. So I'm going to be talking with the cast, certain members of the cast, and they're going to tell you the story. They're also going to take us into this journey and its personal meanings to them in their lives. So help me welcome to the show tonight, members of Cheryl's Voice play. Welcome. So I'm going to kick this off by speaking to you ladies, and I'm going to ask you to speak to me, talk to our audience about Cheryl's Voice, the play, the body of work, and its mission.
You're the talker. Yes, you are.
Oh, you really were waiting on me.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm really waiting on you.
Hi, I'm Yasmin Cherie. I'm one of the co-founders of Zor'El. Actually, with the mission and the mission of this whole thing is really to just raise awareness of what it does to not only the victims of domestic violence, but also what it does to the children that are usually the product of a domestic violence relationship. The story that is about LaTasha, which I get the opportunity to portray her. She is a good friend of ours, and once we actually heard her story, we knew that it had to come out, and that people had to hear it.
Well, my name is Christy Drones Fawcett. I'm also one of the co-founders of Zor'El Creations, and I am playing the grandmother of LaTasha that ended up having to raise her. And the main thing that my character will be talking about is just Christ in counseling, getting the help that you need when you have had a loved one go through domestic violence and different tragedies in your life that we especially in the African American community, we need to go and get counseling at times, and it's nothing wrong with that. We really don't talk about it much, but Christ and counseling, seeking God in the situations that you're going through. So
Well, I am Lisa Raquel. I am co-founder of Zorel. I will be playing Shantae. I'm the cousin of Latasha. And for my character, she's more of the comic relief, but at the end of the day, I have my serious moments with Latasha to help her get through the situation.
All right. I'm Thoris Palmer. I'm playing Eric. I'm playing Latasha's best friend, the supportive best friend who finds himself in his own situations.
Mm. Wow.
I'm Carla Williams, and I am actually playing First Lady. I serve as my husband and I are pastors of the grandmother, and we are kind of a similar role as the grandmother is to the granddaughter. To her, to the grandmother, we're her counselor, and just discerning some things that we pointed out that she would need to go through her own self, the grandmother, to help her through this journey of healing.
Okay.
And I am Courtney Johnson. I am playing the role of Chloe, and I'm playing the girlfriend to Thoris, who is actually playing the role of Eric. So I can't really say a lot about my character without giving it away. So I'm just going to say that, of course, this play is going to show. Of course, abuse can come in different forms, from in fashions. Of course, there's spiritual, physical, verbal abuse. So you'll be able to see some different aspects of that.
Wow. Okay, thank you so much. And I'm gonna stick with this room before I move around. So I've got to ask y'all, as you maneuver through this play, as you read the script, as you put it together, did you see any lessons in putting this together in the script that you saw? I'm not so much lessons. Did this help you see the way things happen in the real world? Did it help you see abuse? how it manifests, maybe not domestic violence, but in, as has already been mentioned, physical, mental abuse, verbal abuse. Did it help you spotlight abuse in its other forms as you put this play together?
One thing that it helped me see was how children have to endure,
Mm-hmm.
even if they're not the one being abused, but being around it causes different situations in their lives. They need counseling as well. Even before they're born, when there's abuse going on, the children, they suffer. So that's going to come out in this play on what happens when you are in an abusive relationship. Your fetus, your babies suffer as well, and they need help. And of course, you want to get out of the situation if possible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there is a way out.
Yeah, and I'm going back to that back row. Carla is a phenomenal singer, y'all. So if you don't know who
Yes, she
Carla
is.
Williams is, she's a phenomenal singer. She has music available. She got shoes out too. She's got a lot. So all of these people are phenomenal in their own right. Let me come back to me. All of these people are phenomenal in their own right. But I want to ask Carla. She plays the role of the first lady, and being pastors and leaders that's a seminal role, and many times we endeavor to serve the community, to serve the people in our care. But as you alluded to in your introduction, sometimes in our effort to serve them, we find our own issues getting in the way. We discovered that we got to heal our own self before we can even try to heal somebody else. I just want you to speak to that really quickly.
For sure. So we're all human. Let's
Mm-hmm.
start there. And I think we just kind of need to know it's an even, um, level playing, that we have to be helped as just as the people we're trying to help. We are here to serve, but then we have to go back to the drawing board when we need help and we need
Mm-hmm.
restoration. So I think it's just good to realize that we are all human, and that we are not God. We all need God's help
Mm-hmm.
and strength, but that does not negate the fact that we are put to a certain calling as far as first lady and or just any leader in the church to help and serve the people that God has called us to. So it's just one of those things. Like, I'm human. If I bleed. If you cut me, I'm going to bleed, just
Mm-hmm.
like you're going to bleed. But I think that going to prayer and just staying in a place of dedication to seeking God's help, that we're able to help others. But that doesn't come easy. You have to stay in a place of prayer and fasting and getting help so you can help somebody else.
Sure. I love that answer. Now I gotta ask y'all. Y'all are wearing shirts that says "I am Cheryl's voice," and as you put this body of work together, I wanted to ask that. How did you take up arms to become Cheryl's voice, and how are you as Cheryl's voice acting to raise awareness about domestic violence, especially domestic violence and abuse that goes unnoticed until it's too late?
Well, I am Cheryl's voice. These shirts actually come from LaTasha Jackson-McDougle. She is the founder of Cheryl's Voice, which is named after her mother. So her nonprofit serves the community of Fort Worth and other communities in Tarrant County to raise awareness and also to assist children that are going through situations as having parents that have been in abusive relationships. She also works with many of the other shelters in Tarrant County to assist them in the things that they need for their children. So honestly, LaTasha has been such a pivotal person in the community. She has just been there for so many of our plays, and she's always supporting. So what really ended up happening, she decided to do a Cheryl's Voice workshop, and we went and saw it, and she talked about her story. And at that point, it was like, you know what, this story needs to be told.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what happened. We had been doing some productions already, and we decided to allow this production to be our first one on our own. So that's kind of where it started. But these are LaTasha shirts from her I Am Cheryl's Voice. And every year in October, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, she actually does a walk on behalf of her mother.
Wow. 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 And I was watching a little bit about LaTasha today, and something that I learned in looking at what I was, watching was that there was another young man. He says he discovered her mother's body, and as I was watching that, I know that young man. I know that guy. They're a little older than me, but we all young. You know what I
Wow.
mean? And the young man at the time, he's a kid. And he says, I'm the one that discovered the body and called 911. And so while we have this conversation about the direct effects of domestic violence on the children, whether they see the violence or whether they hear the arguments or whether they just see the discontent in the house, the discomfort in the house, whether they experience it that way, that's an issue in itself. But also there's an indirect effect, that affects people and especially other young children in the community. Sometimes kids, we see stuff and we want to help, we can't help, and so there's also an indirect effect to that part. I'm going to go back to the room and I want y'all to just speak on that, because I think that's as big a part of the story. Not to conflate that, but I also think that's a big part of the story as well, because domestic violence does not only affect one house. It has a way of impacting the entire community, as we saw with that young man telling his story.
Well, actually, that actually happened in Morningside, Fort Worth, the area of Morningside, Southside Fort Worth.
Yeah.
So that happened right here. So she went and did a balloon release for her mother about a year or two ago. And when she went to do the balloon release, one of the people came out and said, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm doing the balloon release for my mom." And he remembered her.
Yeah.
So that community still remembers what happened. So the impact, yes, is still there. And LaTasha is not only a product of that area, but she grew up also in Como. So this is a story that Fort Worth needs to hear, because of the things that LaTasha has done. Because of her tragedies, she has made sure that different laws and different things have changed because of what happened to her mother.
Wow. And tragedy is often a catalyst for change. It's a catalyst to get us moving. It's a catalyst for advocacy. And so shout out to LaTasha Jackson-McDougle. What a tragic way to lose your mother, but thank you for picking up the baton to not only serve those in domestic violence situations, but helping them once they get out. We have other members of the cast. I'm going to go to them now. Will Scott is here. Jared Tucker is here. We got Broderick hanging out with us. This is an old friend of mine. Young man, he's grown all the way up. They're going to talk about their role in the play, and I'm going to ask them a few questions about this as well. I'm going to start off with I forgot his name. Will Scott. I'm so sorry.
Well, I appreciate the introduction. So, I play the role of Paul, which in my estimation is a very important role in LaTasha's life. From what I can gather, I feel like the role of Paul is important because a lot of times we don't understand, especially as parents, and I can speak from my own experience in life as a father of a daughter who has experienced some domestic violence as a young adult. Sometimes we don't understand that we are not necessarily able to pass our strength down to our children. And Paul is a very strong character. He's a very strong influence in LaTasha's life. He's physically strong, but also very mentally and emotionally strong as well. He also is very similar to myself. I wouldn't call him a very religious man, although he is very spiritual and is a believer. And so I share a lot of similarities with Paul, which is why I feel like it's very easy for me to draw from this role. But a lot of times we don't understand that we're not able to actually pass down that strength to our children. We're not able to actually protect them because of who we are. We have to meet them where they are and try to protect them and show them the way and guide them based on who they are and experiences that they're having in their lives. And so that's what I've been able to gather from this role. And that's what I feel like I'm able to bring to the role as well, just in understanding who Pa is and who he was to LaTasha and to Cheryl.
So, what would you say to a young person who may be experiencing domestic violence in their home? They may be seeing their parents, getting into it all the time. They may see one parent abusing another.
Yeah, probably the same thing that I've told my children growing up. And the number one thing is it's always okay to talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't necessarily always matter who that person is, as long as you start with someone.
Mm-hmm.
Even in my own household, my children and their mom, we've always talked to our kids about, hey, if you see anything going on, it's okay to go to one parent or the other. If you think daddy's not doing something he's supposed to be doing, go talk to mom. If you think mom's not doing something she's supposed to be doing, or vice versa, go talk to dad. If you need to go outside the home and talk to someone, then you do that. And just keeping that open in the communication, helping them understand that it's always okay to talk to someone. I was raised in an era and in a household where, what goes on in my house stays in my house was kind of the rule of thumb. And so it caused me to bottle a lot of things up, hold a lot inside. A lot of it came out in anger.
Wow.
A lot of it was displayed in actions that, things that I wish I could take back. But you live and you learn. And that's the one thing that I wish I had known growing up, or I wish I had been given to me, is the opportunity just to know that I can talk to people, right? And that I can express myself, and it's okay to express feelings, and it's okay to have emotions. Even as a 40-year-old man today, I still deal with not understanding how to express emotion. And a lot of that is because of my childhood. So it's a constant learning process, and a constant, it's a constant wheel. You never really master it. But as long as you continue to talk to people, keep good people around you, people that are giving you positive energy, people that are giving you positive words of encouragement, then you have an opportunity to grow. And I think that's where a lot of us go wrong as parents, is the one thing that I feel like we can pass down to our kids is communication. And I don't think enough of us do that. I can certainly say that in my household, it wasn't a thing. And it's affected me throughout my lifetime.
Hearing this makes me feel good, because I'm hearing advancement. I'm seeing advancement. But I'm going back to the room, y'all. Ladies, I got to ask y'all, working with a guy like Will and seeing him progress through these things, even as you put this production together, I want to hear from y'all, because so many times an issue like this can easily become women versus men, but you all are working together to present, not only telling a story, but presenting a solution. So I want to ask y'all this, and whoever wants to answer, you can answer. If more than one answer, that's fine. But I just want to hear from you about the synergy of putting this together, working with someone who has gone through what you're presenting, and how you're working through that, and how you're doing it together. I want to hear from y'all on that.
Well, I don't know if everybody in the room actually knows my story, but I actually did experience domestic violence issues as well. I mean, it affected me as a child. So my mother and father, they were together, they were married, and for maybe 3 years, I want to say 3 or 4 years. And when I was only maybe 2 years old, and my father tried to kill me and my sister. He tried to suffocate us with pillows. So doing this story and playing this role, and also just seeing the whole story, not just my character, but the whole story, it does, it touches me. So, I mean, it means a lot to me to actually be able to be a part of the cast and to play this role. Of course, it took years to heal from all of that. And to this day, me and my father, we are back in communication with each other, but it did leave a strain. There's still a strain. Even now, me almost 40 years on, 39. So it left a strain on our relationship, although God has delivered him and blessed him in many ways, and now he's a pastor as well. But still, it
Wow.
does affect me, even though there's been forgiveness there. Okay, so
Okay.
I've
Okay.
forgiven him, and my mother has as well. They never remarried after that, so you can still see how that still affects them as well in some type of way, regardless if they want to say it or not. It has, because
Mm.
and I know my mom. She she may say that she has moved on and she's okay with things, but I can still see there are signs that there's still some trauma there. So every blue moon, she may bring up something that he did, and it's been years,
Yeah.
years and years ago. So, but yeah, this play definitely means a lot to me, and I'm grateful to be a part because I know firsthand what it's like to deal with that.
Now you said you forgiven him. Obviously, is impossible to forget. But you forgiven him. You moved on. Now let me just tell you. Just listening to you say that, I heard you say he's a pastor. I'm a man of the cloth as well, but I'm already holding a grudge against him. So and I never met him. I don't know who he is. I might know him. I might actually like the guy. I don't know. I don't know who your father is. But just hearing about that, made me mad. So, and I'm serious too. So talk about the process of reaching a point to where you have forgiven him and that you have healed. I want to hear that.
I'm sorry, you said you wanted to hear the process.
Yeah, I want to hear your process and how you got to this point to where y'all even have a relationship now. Cause I mean, a little piece of me. I mean, I might have every now and again, he might have to, I would go back to that place. So I want to know how you got there, cause you doing better than a whole lot of folks right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So of course there was definitely a process. So my mother, she went ahead and got out
Okay.
after he tried to do that
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
he abused her, trying to get to us. At the same
Oh,
time, he hurt her,
wow.
trying to keep her from saving us from dying in
Mm.
that situation. So me still talking about it, it does. I'm telling you, it throws me sometimes. Because sometimes my blood boils a little bit when I.
Yeah.
But because I know how some of the things that my mother had to deal with, as far as like being not just only beat, but she would have to like stand outside at 9 months pregnant with my sister in the heat. He would lock her outside on the back patio and just different things, and
Yeah.
writing nasty letters and coming to the house and coming putting on a show in front of the neighborhood. Like, I mean, all the neighbors knowing your business.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was it was levels. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Even after he had did that and she left, he
Mm-hmm.
still stalked and harassed and all that.
Whew.
So after he finally left us alone, we were good. And I want to say that was maybe 2 years after of him doing that. He would
Mm-hmm.
show up at some of the churches that we would be at, and
Oh Lord.
it was just cause a scene. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And so I want to say when I was 12 years old, that's when we ran into him at the grocery store.
Mm.
So me, my mom, and my sister, we saw him at the grocery store, and he was saying how he was so glad to see us, and how God had actually changed his life around. And my mom felt comfortable, and we actually felt comfortable as the children with him to actually, come back around just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So he did, and when he came back, he came to the house to visit, and he actually prayed. We all prayed. We stood in the circle and we prayed together. So,
Whoa.
and having the relationship with God that I have now has definitely been the key.
Mm-hmm.
That's key right there, because a lot of people, even at this point, wouldn't be able to. It would be very hard for them to forgive somebody for doing something like
You're
that, and
right about it.
because it didn't even just affect my mother; it affected my grandmother, my great grandmother, my
Yes.
uncles, my aunts. Everybody had a grudge against him because of the things that they saw that he
Yep.
did, not just hearsay, but seeing that. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So,
Yeah.
but at this particular point right now, it is. I don't talk to him on a daily.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because that we're talking about this right now. My mother, she texted me this morning. She said, "Did you remember that your dad's birthday was yesterday?" And I was like, "I haven't known his birthday since I've known him." So
What?
she was like, she put a crying emoji because I guess when you get older
Yeah.
and you need your children there to help you, because they need somebody there to help them. So
Yeah.
me, I step in.
Yeah.
because that's just who the God in me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to ever let him suffer or watch him suffer, even though he has tried to make us suffer. You know what I'm saying? So I would never start an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. So yeah, but it was definitely a process, and I'm much better now. I can have a conversation with him. I can text him without really feeling some type of way. So I'm in a very healthy place, but that's all because of God.
Help me, Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
Help me, Holy Ghost.
Yes, Lord.
And that's a for real thing. Wow. Okay. And so you see in this cadre of wonderful actors in this production, you have people with their own story, not as tragic as LaTasha Jackson-McDougle's story of losing her mother to domestic violence, but they have their own stories. And so what a story from a survivor there. I'm talking to the cast of Cheryl's Voice today. We're talking about this play. It is coming up soon. We'll tell you all about it, how to buy tickets, and where to go to watch this phenomenal play. But I'm going to move on to other cast members who are joining us today. I hope they're still awake. We've been talking a while. I'm coming to you next with Jarek Tucker, another member of the cast. He's going to tell me about his role in the play, and I'm going to ask him a few more questions. So let's go to Jarek right now. Jarek, how you doing?
I'm blessed, man. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. It's good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. You've been a part of the conversation. You've seen your castmates talk about their roles in the play, their personal experiences. Man, talk to us about your role in Cheryl's Voice.
All right. So I play one of Cheryl's 10-second boyfriends, Derek. That's what I'm gonna call it.
All right.
It didn't last that long, but I play a boyfriend. But I don't want to go deep into character traits or anything like that. I'd rather you guys come out and see it for yourself because it's gonna be a show.
Okay, good stuff. Now, without giving too much away, I gotta ask you this: you play her one of her 10-second boyfriends, as you call it.
Yep.
What is the significance of your role being or your character being included in this play? I think that'll kind of ask a question without getting too deep into it. What's the significance of Derek in this production?
So I feel Derek, and looking, going off script and everything, thinking about the script, I see how Tasha reacts to Derek at a certain time frame, and she seems quite stronger than any point of time in the play. So it seems like I'm her breaking point where she kind of figures out that she's a strong Black woman.
Okay. So you say you push her kind of to that point?
Yeah. I push her to that point.
Now you can't see him, but this room over here, they are cutting up over here when you said that. So listen, if y'all can see what I see, I think I'm gonna bring them in. Hold on, look at them. Look at them cutting up over here. He said something, y'all. Listen, and I don't know what in the world they talking about, but I'm going to that play and I'm going to be watching for Derek, y'all. If I don't watch for anybody else, I'm going to be watching for Derek to see what in the world got this room, this whole room over here, just cutting up like that. So let me ask you this. You've seen this story. You've seen relationships like this, toxic relationships even.
Yeah.
You've seen them manifest. You've seen them as part of our community.
Correct.
How has this play given you either insight into just how drastic they can become, and how has it given you a different outlook on those?
Well, I'm a child of a Black woman who was severely, nearly beaten to death. So, quick story about my mom.
Sure.
My mother was married to her ex-husband, which is not my father. Was before my father, but her ex-husband beat her with a hammer and left her in the woods in Oak Cliff to die. And my mom literally crawled 6 miles to a house, and the couple brought my mom in, patched her up, and took her to the hospital. Years later, I was born. Yeah. The guy came back and thought he was my father, which is not true. So growing up, I used to hear stories about this all the time. I knew who this man was growing up. I used to hear his name all the time. Now I turned, I'm 23, right now I'm 35, but when I was 23, I remember getting off work one day, and I walked in my mom's house, and I saw a guy on the couch. Now, I don't know if the universe put this vision of him in me, or maybe I seen a picture of him when I was little. But when I walked in, I know exactly who he was, and I just stared at him, and I almost couldn't like I just wanted to jump on him.
Yeah.
And he explained who he was, and I was like, man, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, man. I know who you are.
Yeah.
So, as I got, they started dating. I used to tell my mom, like, hey, look, man, this man did this before. She's like, nah, he changed. He did time in jail. He did almost 15 years in jail.
Wow.
And he used to follow me on all social media. Like, he used to, and when he came over my mom's house, he could name almost every movie I was in, which it wasn't impressive to me. I really didn't care.
Right.
So about 3 years ago, current time, he went back to jail. And me and my mom was over there talking one day. My mom was like, yeah, not gonna lie, he beat me recently.
What?
And I was like, so you didn't tell me why? She's like, because I know you're older, and things would have transpired a little different, which they would have. They definitely would have transpired a little different.
Right.
So I'm definitely a product of that.
Wow. And listen, y'all heard him right. You heard him right. Listen, we ain't playing these games. Times have changed. A lot of us who saw things happen as kids, we not playing those games no more. We got a bright future ahead of us, but listen, you can get some if need be.
Yeah.
Listen,
plus more.
And plus more. You heard the man.
Yeah.
And so thankfully you didn't have to take matters into your own hands.
Correct.
And so you've been in numerous films, and so you're expanding your career now. So we're grateful for that. And even here's something that I want to bring out, because so many people do not have a second chance to escape. They do not have. Some of them have second and third chances. We keep telling you to leave them alone, and here they go, and things happen like that. So how did you feel when your mama told you that something happened and she didn't tell you? How did you feel when she said that?
I almost felt betrayed in a way, because I thought me and my mom relationship was way better than that. My mom is like my best friend.
Yeah. And
as a black man, my father, backstory about me, my father committed suicide when I was 5. So my stepdad, God rest his soul as well, my stepdad was the one who raised me. So when my mom and my stepdad departed ways, when they got divorced or whatnot, me and my stepdad were still close, because that's my brother's biological father. So, my mom stayed by herself, and then, hearing this, me and my mom talk about everything under the sun. I really can call my mom my idol and a best friend. So when she brought that to my attention, it was almost like, why was you sparing his life if he didn't spare yours?
Yeah.
Because the man could have killed you. Honestly, the man could have killed you.
Yeah.
And it's like you really thought that this man could change, and there was and let me make sure I'm saying this the right way. He used church to say that he changed, and which sometimes that's an ammunition in our community.
Right.
In our black community, we like to say, hey, I found God, and I'm back in church, but we use it sometimes as a crutch, and we're not changed. We just want someone to see that we changed. And me, honestly, I didn't buy it at all. I just didn't buy it. It was just something in my soul that the universe was putting on me, like, man, he ain't changed. And I could not talk to that man.
I'm coming your way. Broderick is a young man that I met many years ago as he was a budding actor. And so he has also graced the stage in numerous productions around the city. And he plays a character in this play that I'm going to find out with y'all right now.
Jason. Jason is the complete opposite from me. Jason is he's the first date, and I know the first date is always weird, but how he acts toward Paul and her family is crazy. So that's all I can say about him. He's completely different from who I am as a person.
Broderick, who are you as a person?
A lot of people think I'm funny, but I really just be saying stuff. I'm very creative. I'm open-minded. I get along with everybody.
So you're telling me that Jason don't get along with people? He's not funny. Nobody likes him, right?
From no one in his, no one would like him after the play. I'm gonna say that.
Okay, I got you. All right. So talk to me about this experience in this play. Talk to me about your experience with this play, putting it together. You're a young man. And so, there's a lot of life ahead of you. That's what we say to 20 somethings, right? I've been 20 something before too. There was a lot that I learned in my 20s, 30s, and as I look to my 40s here. But what has this play taught you? What has this play shown you? And I'm not going to discount any of your life's experiences that you may bring to the play, but just talk about your experience with this play and how it may have impacted your life.
This play has been great. Working with people that I've honestly never worked with before, aside from Lisa and Yasmin, it's great. The stuff in, like, the way Jason acts in the play, like the stuff that Paul is teaching him in the play, was stuff that I basically grew up on. I'm not gonna give away too much. Was stuff that I basically grew up on. So it's stuff I already knew. How to respect the woman, how to respect the lady, but Jason is still not going to understand that in the end. So, but with me, I'm good.
Sure.
But working with these people that I've never worked with before, they're all so amazing. They're all such great actors. Even in just this production, even in the few rehearsals that we had, it's great. It's a good experience, and I'm excited.
I'm excited about seeing it as well. So now I'm going back to the room, y'all. I'm coming to y'all. They've been cutting up while everybody else has been talking. Y'all haven't seen them, but I have seen them, and they have been cutting up. You should see the way they're reacting to these men. So I'm just letting you know this is the play you got to come check out, because these are some characters here. So tell us all how we can get tickets to the play, show times, and how we can read more about Zor'El Productions as well as Cheryl's voice.
Well, you can go to our Zor'El Facebook page. That is Zor'El Creations. And you can look us up on
BPT brownpapertickets.com.
Okay.
The link.
Or if you see a flyer somewhere around you, there are QR codes on there. You can go to my Facebook page. That's Lisa Raquel, Lee.
Amen.
S.A. Raquel. And the link will be on there.
Okay, now talk to me about show times. How many shows are y'all running across how many days? Talk to me about that.
One show.
One show? Really? One? Oh, so you got to make it. One show.
At 5 o'clock, we start on time.
On time.
Now give me the show date.
It is July 9th.
July 9th. Now listen, we live in this pandemic era where everybody wants to watch it virtually. No, it ain't streaming. You got to come out to where it is. Brown paper tickets. You can get your ticket there, and it's at the Scott Theater. Am I correct?
Yes, Scott Theater.
The William Scott Theater in Fort Worth. You got to listen. They ain't streaming. You got to come. You got to buy your tickets and come check this out. This is a fantastic cast, a wonderful ensemble. They're going to be telling the story, and as excited as I am to be talking about them, I cannot get away from the fact that this is a tragedy that they're presenting to us, and so they're bringing awareness not only to domestic violence and how so many times it flies under the radar. They're also showing us how we can become preventers of domestic violence, how to get involved, and we know there's a flip side to that, where sometimes those who get involved sometimes pay the price with their lives. They also become injured. But we're talking today about turning things around. I'm going back to the room as I ask this again. Actually, I'm going to go back to the room. I'm going to give everybody a last word. So I'm going back to the room. I'm giving y'all the last word, and then we're going to hear from Will, Broderick, and Jarek one more time. Ladies, you have the floor.
I'm so excited to do this play. I believe the message is amazing. One thing that really stands out to me about the play is that it opens up people's eyes that what your children see and a lot of things that they don't see, sometimes they end up walking into later on in life.
Oh, wow.
And if we don't pour that wisdom and knowledge into them about walking through certain situations that we had to walk through, then they'll be lost in it and stuck in it. And that's how most of us end up in cycles. And we're like, where did this come from? Mama didn't talk about it. Daddy didn't talk about it. So I believe it brings awareness to people saying, okay, I need to teach my children about some of my life experiences. Like me, myself, I stay on my nephews and my nieces about when you finish school, work on your credit and go to college.
Right.
Because it was hard for me in my 30s to get my credit together and to go back to school that I can be somebody now that I'm older. You might as well do it when you're young. So I try to pass it to them now that they have it so they don't try to do it late. Vice versa with domestic violence. Let your kids know now, this is how you're supposed to be loved. This is how you're supposed to be treated, so that when you get older, you'll see the signs and you'll know this ain't what you want. And this right here, this seed that you're just getting super aggressive with me, that may grow if I allow it to happen now. So just to bring awareness and let our children know that, see the signs and know to move different.
Oh, I love that. He said, see the signs and know to move differently. I love that. See, that's something else that we're taking, that we have an opportunity to grow. As healing happens, we have an opportunity to grow from those lessons, even the painful ones that we don't want to share. Carla, I'm coming back to you in the room now. Carla Williams, everybody.
All right, so I agree with everything that everyone said, and I am a big fan of documentaries. I like true stories. I like to watch people's stories, and one reason I believe is because I want to be able to properly handle people and not misjudge people. You never know what people are going through, so just being a somewhat empath, like I want to be able to know and feel and put myself in someone else's shoes so we can handle people differently. Sometimes when it's out of sight, out of mind, you just going through life like, it's my fault no more, or I'm good over here. But we're not called to here to be on this earth just to enjoy life. We're here to help serve one another and feel what others feel. So I'm excited to be a part of this. And I didn't know what I was a part of for real until we had our first meeting. And I was like, oh, wow. This really happened, and she's from my hometown, my daddy's hometown. Come on.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
I was like, wow, this happened around, and I never knew anything about it, but just to know that it's based on a true story, not that, make it light of what she had to go through.
Right.
But it lets me see and have insight on someone else's pain, and just want to be a part of the story and help others.
Wow. I love it. I love it so much. This cast is just blessing me, y'all. I'm having such a good time talking with them. Mr. Will Scott, I'm coming your way. Last words, sir. Any last words?
Really and truly just want to say thank you for the opportunity to the rest of the cast. They saw something in the character of Paul, just from others that have worked with me that they thought I would be a good fit for the role. And really and truly, it's been a blessing. So I'm just thankful for the opportunity to share a little bit of my experience and pour that into someone else's story. And so it's been really good for me as well, just getting an opportunity to work with others and understand how to communicate. Seeing that other people do go through some of the same things that you go through, I think is always a good thing as well. Sometimes we grow up in life thinking that some of the things that we've been through is just us, and we think we're in a bubble. And, I can probably tell you that most of the people on this cast probably didn't know any of the things that I've revealed tonight, because, again, it speaks to not growing up understanding how to communicate. I've always been I always tell people I'm an open book, but you have to turn the pages. So I don't necessarily divulge information, but if you ask questions, I'll give it. And so, but I probably don't necessarily come across as the type of person that you want to ask a lot of questions either. So, so it just, it all goes back to some of those things that I dealt with in my childhood, and some of those things that stem from domestic violence in the home. And so it can really mold you into a certain type of individual, and sometimes getting an opportunity to participate in things like this can help bring some of those things out of you. So I'm just grateful for that. And I really hope that others get an opportunity to learn something from it, and hopefully are able to walk away from this production and feel like maybe they could open up to somebody about something they need to talk about.
I love that so much. What a testimony of the synergy of this group and how impactful this play is already being. You don't have to wait until July 9th. You're seeing the impact in this interview. Mr. Jared Tucker, I'm coming back to you. Talk to me. Last thoughts, sir. Any last thoughts?
Protect the culture, men and women. Let's really put a hold on domestic violence. It's been happening for a long time. Let's just, men, if your buttons are being pressed, just walk away. And women, walk away before it's too late. I want to thank everybody. This is my first time working with everybody. It's an amazing cast. Everyone has a different energy. Everyone has brought their character to life. I can actually say it looks like everyone has a backstory that they're bringing to their character, and that's really important in acting. Just come out July 9th, be inspired, and once you leave, I hope, if anybody's going through it, I hope this message really gets to you. And if it's really it, really, just come out July 9th and just feel the energy of this story.
We would like to thank LaTasha first and foremost for allowing us to do this script and to do the production and put on the play and tell her story. For me, I know the writing process was very challenging. This is probably my most challenging script that I've done because it was so real, and I locked myself in the room for 3 days working on this script, having to put myself in the mindset of what she must have went through, what her mom must have went through, what her grandparents, everybody, every part of this cast and every person and every moment in this script is very important and is very vital, because even if it didn't happen to you, it might have happened to somebody close to you. And another thing is that we want to tell the parents, hey, if you go on and get out, you can go ahead and get your children help before they get older and really have to deal with the issues and the conflict of the past. Don't keep it a secret. Keep on telling them, like, hey, watch out for these signs. I know that with me, I might not have been in a severe domestic violence situation, but I had a dude that I was talking to. He followed me to Tyler, and that's 2 hours away. And he was trying to force me to have a relationship with him. And if I didn't have the parents that I had and my dad giving me the, okay, I don't trust you going out with him ever again in life, and stopping me before I got myself into something terrible. And with this story, I'm appreciative of her letting us know her story, because now I know what signs to look for, and I'm 22 years old. And I do make mistakes like everybody else. So with her telling me her story and telling me the things she went through is helping me in my dating life every day. So I want to thank her personally for everything that she has done for not only myself but for the cast, because everybody's story has been very beautiful in their own way, because even though this is a tragedy, is a beautiful thing that she was able to turn her pain into power. I wanted to just say that.
And we do want to say thank you to the cast. Not the whole cast isn't on the interview. We want to say thank you guys so much for helping us bring this to life. Each cast member was handpicked. We did not do auditions. Everybody that is in the cast, we knew that, they had it in them, and we just want to say again, thank you to you guys. And the ones that could not make it, we do miss you guys in the room. And but thank you to the ones that are here with us today, and Jarek and Will and Broderick for also coming on from their locations. It's gonna affect the world. And we're just so excited to have the handpicked people that actually all said yes, and they have been dedicated. You should see rehearsal. Rehearsals are going great.
Wow.
And we're very appreciative to LaTasha for also not micromanaging us, and she just really trusted us with this. And so her trusting us with this project lets us trust our cast members with doing their part as well. So we're just very appreciative to all of us. And then also to you for, just allowing us to be on your platform.
Yes.
Thank you, Fred. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I love rounds of applause. And I love this cast even more. I love this story, and something that was brought out, Lisa brought this out, the element of shame. And so much shame keeps stories like this from being told. And even the shame of not just telling the story or saying, yeah, that was my mom, but saying that I'm going to allow y'all to tell the story. And I'm going to let you tell it in your own way, that there's no shame anywhere, because even as Will showed us, there's a lot of growing for all of us to do, and we're growing through any mistake or anything that's been heaped on us. And as to Carla's point about documentaries, look, she's not micromanaging the cast; they're telling it their way, and it's a production, so they have license, to entertain us even as they educate us. So as you come out on July 9th at the Scott Theater in Fort Worth, Texas, to see this play, keep all of that in mind. Keep in mind that there will be those in the audience who have a story of their own to tell, and we hope that them seeing this play will give them the courage they need to not only tell their story, but to get out of that situation. Broderick, I want to come. Can you hear me? Let's try Broderick one more time.
No, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's allowed me to be a part of this. It's an amazing experience. It's a really, really, really great story. And I'm enjoying each and every one of you. And I thank you for handpicking me, like Yasmin said, Lisa, Christy, and Yasmin. And that's all. I'm excited.
All right, everybody, that was my interview with the cast of Cheryl Voice. I want to thank them so much for their time tonight and for sharing their story. They shared, even as you heard Will say, shared some things that even the castmates didn't know. But that's the nature of this play. It's pulling out emotions that are, hidden, tucked away. But we're bringing them to light so that we can all experience growth and healing. And so we can become the people that we're meant to be. Domestic violence is not the only form of violence that relationship partners experience, or romantic partners rather. There's even instances of sexual abuse in those relationships. There's verbal abuse, there's emotional abuse. And if you're suffering from any of those, I encourage you to get out. I do encourage you to get out. There are many agencies that advocate for your health and wellness and your security also. And so I want to encourage you to seek those out. If you need help, you can contact Cheryl's Voice to help you with that. Even if you have children, they want to help you and your children be safe. We also don't want to, I highlighted the other forms of abuse, and these forms of abuse are prevalent in romantic relationships, in homosexual relationships, heterosexual relationships, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse. Those abuses are prevalent in relationships. They happen. However, you do not have to continue suffering. If you're in a relationship experiencing any type of abuse, I encourage you to get out. Get out. There is help. There is hope. Hope beyond the bleak outlook that you may be experiencing now. So Cheryl's Voice is a play going down in Fort Worth, Texas, July 9th at 5 p.m. at the William Scott Theater. I want you to be there. I'm going to see you there. And let's watch this together. It's a play that is going to facilitate growth. It's going to facilitate health. It's going to facilitate, hopefully, help for those who may need the help being presented. I'm sure there are those who have a story to tell who feel they cannot tell their story. Well, this play will give you the courage to do just that. So July 9th, I want you to meet me at the Scott Theater for Cheryl's Voice. I'll see you then. For Talking Points, I'm Fred Willis. We'll be back with more after this.